Alright then, so welcome guys. We are currently in Chamsley Wood's Foundry Gym. This is the podcast for the gym. I'm Kian, your host, and I've got two lovely guests today, well esteemed. So before we do continue, I'll just let you know that where you can find us on Instagram, it is Chamsley Wood Foundry Gym, and you can also find us on YouTube as well. But before we get into it, I'll just let you know what we're going to be covering. So today, we're going to make sure we cover the personal fitness transformation of both our guests. We're going to go into their holistic wellness and nutrition views, and obviously get some expertise from that, go into the trends in the future, and then from there, we'll conclude. So before we get into everything, I'll make sure I'll hand over to my guest to my right, which is
Shaun Pelayo. So I'm a model, actor, ex-basketball player. And now I just go gym and do a little bit of everything now.
Okay, thank you. And you have...
My name's Rosanna Cox. I'm a professional boxer.
Oh. So we'll delve deep into that. So first we'll go back to Shaun. If you could just give us a little background of your fitness journey and how it all started.
So my fitness journey, I don't ever remember a point in my life where I didn't train or like work. Not so much workout. Obviously, when I was a kid, I used to just be obsessed with football, and I've had like a super obsessive personality since I was a kid. So like, I'd spend every single day outside in the morning before school trying to beat my kick-up record, and then after that it would be, I don't know. I was just obsessed. And in PE, I always used to, you know, when you're the kid that gets the rounders bat, and everyone's like, yo, Shaun's on it, and they all like move back. And I just dominated every sports day in my primary schools, and then then I just fell in love with basketball, and then I pursued that, and I wanted to do that professionally. So then I just set my heart, and I just literally was obsessed. And then I went to my team. I had the same teammates from like under 14s, under 15s, under 16s. Played National League D4, college team, men's team, university. Then I went to university. When I finished college, I just typed into box like #1 university in the country for basketball.
Okay.
Worcester won it back to back for 8 years. So then I went there, and then I just went through the teams there. And then the overall goal was always to go back to the Philippines and play. But then after the 4th year, I had a message from the coach at Plymouth, and he was like, "You're right, Shaun, we heard you killing it." He invited me down for a trial. I just absolutely smashed the trials, and then got offered the contract there. And then but I quit after when I achieved it, I quit after that. And it was just like, I don't know, my whole life I dreamed of this moment. And when I did it, I was like, I don't know, I was younger, girls became a factor, I wanted to go out became a factor. Because you're so dedicated to a sport, training 3 times a day. And then I just wanted to do what my friends were doing, just enjoying themselves and stuff. But then I didn't last long. I just fell in love with the gym, so I did what every young boy did. I just got really big at first. I just got obsessed with trying to lift bigger weights and watching the YouTube videos before I went. And I achieved a physique that I liked. And then now I just work out for my mental health. And if I don't work out, I'm such a bad version of myself. So I need to work out. It's like part of my DNA. It's like part of brushing my teeth. It's something that's embedded in me. That's like a brief outline of my fitness journey.
Okay. So you touched a few points there, so we'll come back to that. But we'll move over to our #1 boxer in the world. Just introduce yourself and a bit of a background.
I am a boxer, a professional boxer. I turned pro this year. I had my professional debut in June, and my division's very small, so I became #1 in the world. I think because I had a 2nd round knockout, it put me straight up to the top of the division. I started boxing in 2013. Similar to what Shaun said, just that obsession, just that wanting to be the best. I made the New Zealand team within a year. My first 3 fights were international fights against girls representing their country. They'd had 20, 30, 40 fights, and I'm winning those fights. And then I went to the World Championships 2014, and kind of realised New Zealand's not that high level for boxing, compared to USA or Team GB, looking at those teams. So I actually took a break. 2015, I competed in bodybuilding. I did figure. I just did one competition. I won overall in that. Same obsession, have to win everything. And then, but I just missed the boxing. So I came back to boxing 2016 and decided if I wanted to take it seriously, I needed to move to the UK. So I moved to Manchester and then London. That was 2016. So I've been here, pursuing that ever since.
Okay. Brilliant. So both of you have gone through your challenges, especially when it comes to basketball, and obviously starting in New Zealand and coming to the UK. What made you choose the UK over the USA?
My mum's British, so I could get a British passport. I think it's obviously a lot easier than getting a green card in America. I'd been here once before. It was a lot easier to come here than try another country.
That makes sense.
What about the MMA as well?
Yes, I also did MMA. 2022 last year, I had one MMA fight as well. Yeah.
Oh wow! So you can fight on all
I just love fighting.
Okay. So we'll move on to your personal transformation. So obviously you started off playing basketball. You pursued it. You got to where you wanted to, and then you fell out of love with it, and then you did the similar thing with fitness as well. So the question is really, what are the challenges that you've faced trying to get to those milestones, and what did you learn from them? And what have you taken from them that's made you the person you are now?
Resilience, definitely resilience, and perseverance. Because basically, I'm from Cornwall. That's not a basketball place. That's it's a rugby place. And to be I was small as well. I was 5'6" for so long. I remember being 5'6", counting my armpit hairs, having size 8 feet. And I just all my friends went through puberty before me. There's all growing to 6 foot, 6'1", 6'4", and then I just had heart. I had the most work ethic, and it was just literally. There's so much times where I think most people would quit. Even I know a lot of people move countries, move cities. Moving to a new city, having a massive culture shock. I went from one culture playing basketball with just certain people. Then when I went to a higher level, it's a completely different type of people.
Yeah.
But it embraced me, and then it just develops a brotherhood, and it develops this sickening work ethic. Because the 3 days we did, that was S&C at 6 a.m. I say 6 a.m. A lot of time you go out the night before as well to at uni. And then you come back, eat some pasta, then you'll just be watching game footage, stretching, whatever, and then you go back for shooting practice. And then obviously in between this, everyone wants your sport, everyone wants to move up teams, so you're competing even more. So then you're training extra before you even go to your actual practice, where you run through the plays and stuff, and then it's every single day. And then even in your downtime, you're playing NBA 2K, and then you're just watching footage and your social circles. So it's just it's just a full-time thing.
All consuming.
But other struggles is when I was younger, I was so skinny. I was so self-conscious about my weight. I'd go swimming with a t-shirt on. I wouldn't roll my sleeves up in school because I thought my wrists were too skinny. I was very self-conscious about my chest as well. And I remember when I first started doing press-ups, I felt confident enough to take my t-shirt off. And as soon as I did, someone commented straight away yo, he's got a pigeon chest. I was like, no. I'm look at me now, prick. No, joking. I was yeah. I remember all that stuff, but then it's better when it works out and then you see what they're like now. And yeah. But yeah, man, I love training now.
I feel that's what gives you that drive. When you've been at the bottom, and then you find something that pushes you. I feel that's what gives you that drive to want to be the best, being the skinny guy and being no, I have to be massive, or do you know what I mean? So I feel similar things for me. When you've been at the bottom of something, I'm now when whatever I do, I have to be the best at it. I think that.
That's a good shout. So moving on to that really then. So for yourself, coming from New Zealand, being pretty much the number one over there because of the talent pool over there. How was it to transition over to the UK and obviously getting to where you are now? What was the challenges that you faced to reach this step?
It's been non-stop challenges ever since I moved here. I think after losing at the World Championships and kind of feeling maybe I'd had it easy. I grew up riding horses, I felt they had a different level to me. And I think I kind of craved that difficulty that was going to give me the strength to be at the top, So I think I kind of embraced the struggles, moving to another country. Moving to moving to another country on your own, it's always going to be struggles. You know what I mean? There's times when, you know, I'm moving from Manchester to London, or I might not have somewhere to live, or, you know, things like that. I think I always embraced it most of the time. I didn't really let it get me down. The biggest struggle would have been in 2018 when I actually turned pro and I didn't get my license because they said that there was a cyst on my brain. And they said I'll never fight again. Yeah, and yeah, that was obviously like I'd given up my whole life. I dropped out of university in 13, 14 to box, and that was like I'd been visualizing it and manifesting it that whole time. So in 2018, for them to say you'll never fight again, like they were saying it's a benign tumor, you were born with it, it's never going to grow, it's never going to get worse or affect you, but it's dangerous for you to fight. Yeah, so that was probably the biggest struggle, and that was that was hard to get through. But it turned out that it wasn't there. I feel like I really manifested that it wasn't there. Like it was just impossible. It was an impossible situation for there to be something that I was born with. I went for something told me go for a brain scan 6 months later, and it was gone. There was nothing there. So yeah, just pushing from then to be allowed to fight and prove to people that I'm safe, because, you know, once no one wants to see someone die in the ring, no one wants to see someone get brain damage. So that's been the real struggle, not moving to England or not being here or being on my own. All of that I embrace, I love that, but the pushing to actually be able to fight, that's been like the big thing.
So wow, that's crazy. That's crazy. So make very good journey. So very good, like, credit to you, man, because a lot of people would have gave up straight away there.
Thank you.
So we'll move on to the second topic, to be fair, that moves on nicely. So in terms of your training, obviously you have to go quite in depth in what you put in your body, things of that nature. What is your nutrition and your wellness? What do you do in terms of your structure with that, and any tips or tricks you can give people?
You do keto?
I feel like every nutritionist is going to watch this and be like, she's crazy, what's she doing, that's wrong. But I feel like I know my body so well. After I did bodybuilding, I actually ended up with an eating disorder. Like, I feel like a lot of young girls get eating disorders because they feel like they're too fat, or they feel like this, or they feel like that. But when I competed, obviously you get really, really lean, and I was on a ridiculous diet. Like, I don't know how I followed this diet. This coach put me on 500 calories a day in the last couple of weeks of the diet. And so when I got on stage, I was so depleted, but that same mentality of I will do anything to win this thing, you know, I'll kill myself 2 hours, 3 hours cardio a day, or 500 calories. So I stripped my body of everything. And when I came out of it, I could not stop eating. And I just blew up. I think I gained 10 kilos in less than a week, like literally blew up. I was all swollen, you know, you hold water. And I developed bulimia, basically. Like, I was like binging, making myself sick, and it kind of gave me this obsession with nutrition. And that was a big reason I went back to the boxing, to see food as fuel and not how I look, you know. And so I feel I've researched my body so much, I've tried so many things. So this isn't to say that boxers should follow this diet, but I personally find that I do better on a low carb diet, very high fats, moderate protein. I do eat carbs. I'll eat like quite clean carbs. I like oats or sweet potato, pumpkin, that sort of stuff, and I'll put that in as and when I feel like I feel like I'm very aware of my body. But yeah, that's not very, what's the word? It's not a very normal thing for fighters. Obviously, they're usually carbing up, and but that's how I feel best, to be honest.
No, okay. So that moves on to yourself. So in terms of your wellness and nutrition and fitness, what do you do for yourself to keep yourself?
My diet's terrible, man. Like, I'm gonna be honest.
Share it.
Yeah.
You have to.
Well, like, for the longest, like, me and my older brother, we were known for how much KFC we used to eat. Like, but we just, like, luckily, because I was always training and stuff, I stayed lean. But when I turned 28, I was in Thailand, like, maybe the year before that or something, and there was like been a vlog being filmed. I seen footage of myself from behind, and I had like body fat for the first time that I seen. I was like, oh my god! So then I met a nutritionist, and she basically like broke it down and put it in the way that I understood it, and she like gave me this analogy. And I was like, oh my God, this whole time, all this fast food I've been eating, chocolate and crisp before bed, that's what's happening.
Yeah.
So then I tried reversing it. So then I went on a mad one for like that summer, I think, and I got abs that summer actually. That's from just cutting out bad food. I just maintained the same thing. But now, I kind of just like, in comparison to these other fitness people on Instagram that you see that have got like the perfect bodies, that you need proper nutrition for. But anyone watching at home, if you go onto my Instagram, the link below, go through my profile. My physique's obtainable if you just train hard. All you got to do is train hard. The diet, not so much a factor. To get like this physique, it's not. It's just training. I don't know if that's really bad advice or not. But then
That's real.
It's real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's real. I feel like people should be more real in the industry.
yeah, like I carry like a little bit of fat around here, but you can still look good in a t-shirt and like. I think I look right with my top off sometimes.
You're a model, so you can tell you different.
Yeah, well. But I remember one time I had a shoot and I got there.
Yeah.
And I got like 10 minutes early and I hadn't eaten breakfast yet. And the lady, I asked the lady, like, can I go get Greg's real quick? And she was like, that's not a model's diet. And I was like, oh no, I was going to get the fruit. And I went there and I ate like two sausage rolls and one of them the bacon cheese things, whatever it's called.
Yeah,
and I just bought a fruit pot to walk back in with. But then also at the beginning of this year as well, like I was in the Philippines from January to February, and then I went to Africa for a week, and when I came back from that, I was obsessed with getting big. So I got to the biggest I ever got to. Like I got to 97 kg, which is quite big for me.
Yeah.
And then now I don't eat as much, but I've kind of just maintained that size a little bit. I don't know what it is. But yeah, I also have like an obsessive thing, so I can eat. I can eat the same thing over and over again. So at the moment it's steak. Like I have so much steak. Maybe like if I'm not eating out, like 2 steaks a day. But as in like, that's not even that much. When I was doing the other one, I was eating like 4 or 5. Just because I can eat the same thing over and over again. And I went through a phase of eating like 3 eggs and 3 waffles every morning, training, coming back to steak, steak, and then. I don't know, it's weird, man.
No, that's crazy. No, listen. It's your movie, man. You have to live it. You don't know if it definitely. Okay, then. So,
but I should eat more fruit and veg. I get that.
It happens, man. Me personally, I eat a balanced diet, so I tend to. I've done a lot of research over the years, and like because I don't train as much as I used to, and I can't do as much sport, I try and make my diet the priority. So I eat a lot of clean carbs, so oats, or like yogurts in the morning with fruit and things of that nature, and that helps me just to maintain the way I am. Because like after COVID, I ballooned. I got to like 100, 105 kg, something like that. And I had to get rid of it somehow. So you can go on any diet. It doesn't matter as long as you eat in proportion. I feel you should be okay.
Yeah.
But for me, I just make sure that I don't get, because there's a lot of diabetes in my family, so I'm quite conscious about what sugar I take in. So if I have a craving, I'll just get some fruit in me or something rather than go for. Like,
I get to take a leaf out of your book then, man. I'm just like.
Nah, do you know what it is? You get to a certain age and you're like, oh, you know what? I actually need to take.
It hit reality. Reality hits you hard.
So we trained together earlier before this, and afterwards, I end up getting.
So coming back from our minor technical glitch, so just to recap on what we've spoken about previously. So we were talking about your fitness journey and how you guys train now and the things that you do. So whilst we were just sorting that out, you're talking about the type of fitness that you currently do. Yeah. So just let us know what your fitness journey is now in tangent with your basketball, and why you got to this stage and why you're doing it.
So the style of training I do is completely changed over the years. So obviously when I used to play ball, everything was functional. It was a lot of like resistance training, like massive cardio, explosive movements, like jumping, like heavily focused on stretching and core and legs and everything like that. And then they're like all the ballers watching, you know about air alert, like that used to kill us. And then back then, you're way more. Every movement is for a purpose. And now it's just now I train just to aesthetically look pleasing. And now I do like a split training, so like the standard like chest, back, all that stuff. But one of my friends is a bodybuilder. He gave me really good advice once because I was so like I would do everything properly. And he was just like, look, bro, when you get to the gym, look in the mirror, and what do you look like you need to train? Like some people have to train legs twice a week. Some people have to do this. Like some people are just genetically blessed. And when he told me that, it kind of like justified why I can train like maybe shoulders more. 'Cause naturally I have really small shoulders, or like me and my older brother, like genetically we have really strong chests, but they don't look that big. So like I hit more flies than most people, and yeah, it's just like certain things like that. So that's how my training style changed.
Okay. So obviously over the years you found out exactly how your body works. You just
Yeah.
adapt into it.
And sometimes you get bored as well. And something about myself here that I think is unique is, you know, when people say shock your muscles,
Yeah.
like I really shock my muscle. I don't know what I'm going to train. Like I'll
Okay.
go to the gym, just my brain will be blank, and then I'll just walk over to the machine and start doing it. I don't know how many reps I'm going to do. Not often, but like I've got that ability to do that, whereas I don't think some people can do that because they have to have everything structured and planned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're quite spontaneous about how you train.
Yeah. And I love doing a lot of drops. I like volume as well. So like I always like kind of work up to what I can do heaviest, and then I'll just drop, and then I like the feeling of like getting a bun. And yeah,
That's a good shout. So what about yourself? So same question. So is there a way that you train? Obviously, as a boxer, you have to train in a strict regime. So how do you go about it? And what's your training regime? What do you do? Things of that nature.
It's quite different in camp to out of camp. So, like, if I'm preparing for a fight, then I'm going to be really focused on getting as much in as I can. It depends how much weight I've got to lose, depending on how much running I do, how far I'm running. Obviously, that was my first pro fight that I just had, so the camp was a bit different. It was more long runs. That was my first time doing 6 rounds, whereas before, you know, amateurs like 4 2s or 3 3s. So yeah, I guess out of camp, I might run 3 times a week. I'll do a longer distance run. I would box 4 times a week. If I'm in camp and I'm preparing for a fight, I would usually see my coach twice a day. You know, we're working on the base fitness on the bags in the morning, and then we're doing the technique on the pads in the afternoon. I'll have a lot more sparring. I probably spar. At the moment, I'm sparring like every other week, like, you know, full-on sparring. In camp, I'll be sparring twice a week. We'll be doing like 10 rounds straight, like having a war, you know. So it's quite my life is like quite like this with the training. I have those deloads, I have that time, and then when it's time to prepare for a fight, it'll be like 8 weeks full-on focused. Nothing else exists. Food's on point, training's on point. Yeah.
What do you find easier, the boxing or the bodybuilding?
They're very different. When I couldn't box, I tried to go back to bodybuilding, and I just found it so boring, and I don't care enough about how I look anymore to want to stand in front of the mirror and like how I used to train similar to that. Go in the mirror. Oh, what do I need to work on? Like, I don't really like following a plan either. But to go in the mirror and be like, oh, what do I need to work on? Like, it can't motivate me anymore. Like when I was younger, that could motivate me. It can't motivate me now. And so definitely boxing. Definitely boxing's easier. Being with a team, having a coach there by your side every day. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Do you have a nutritionist as well? Is that something that you?
No, that's what I was going to say. Like, a lot of things have changed since I was boxing before. You know, I came out of the game for 5 years. I've come back. Everyone's got a nutritionist. Everybody's got a strength and conditioning coach. Like, it's that last camp. I was old school for me. Like, I just did the running and the boxing, and I was with my coach. I feel like people used to do most of the stuff with their coach. Like, my coach would do all my strength and conditioning work. My coach would do all of that. Now I feel like there's a scientist for everything, and I think like that will be what takes me to the next level. In my next camp, I will definitely be working. I mean, I'm going to be starting with an S&C coach, I think, this month or next month. But
SSC, what does that mean?
Strength and conditioning, strength and conditioning. But he's taking me to some university, I think like Loughborough University, to do like £4,000 worth of testing, like testing my blood, testing what foods agree with me, testing how my muscles work, how, you know, my, what is that thing you said? The ATP? Like all of
phosphates and all that stuff.
like just in-depth stuff that I've never heard of. I think when I was boxing before, you know, it was just it's changed a lot. There's a lot more science involved in the sport now, and I think that's why you're seeing these fighters go up and up and up the level. It's going up, the performance level's going up.
Okay. So that moves on to basically our final topic. So the trends that you see now. so you touched on what you're currently doing. So in your actual in your journey with boxing and how you train, how do you see it's gonna develop even further with all the nutritionists, all the scientists? What do you think is gonna happen with yourself in that field?
I think I'm not the person that I was. Like I'm not the fighter that I was. So my last fight was like the amount of setbacks I've had over the last 5 years trying to be able to box and having opportunities and having them taken away from me. It was very hard for me to believe in that camp. It was very hard for me to motivate myself and believe that I was going to fight in June. And I think the way that I'm going to level up over the next few months, you know, like I said, like adding the nutritionist, adding the strength and conditioning coach, and really growing into my career with that belief, knowing now I'm a professional boxer, now fights are happening for me, my career's really started now. I think that it can only go up. My passion for the sport is back, and the like hunger for the training is really there. So I think I can only go. There's so much progression coming from that last fight that people have seen.
So what's your goal now then? So now you've had your first fight.
Yeah.
Where do you want to? Where's your next target? Where's your next goal?
Well, there's been talk with the heavyweight world champion. Her name's Lani Davies. She's actually from New Zealand. Okay. I fought her in the amateurs and I beat her. She said the other day that it was a split. I feel like it was a really easy win for me. So I'm looking at her. I think she's got one belt. I want that belt. So for me, I feel like that's quite an easy fight for me. I've been watching her videos and I think I would like to be a world champion quite soon. The heavyweight division is not somewhere that I want to be, but yeah, it's there and it's a challenge, and it's like, let me just grab that, and then I'm number one in my weight division. Those titles are vacant. I want to be a world champion in that weight, and then I'm going to go down. Yeah, I would say by next year I'll move down to super middle, but yeah, world champion. On my mirror it says world champion or die. So let me just quickly grab a couple belts and then move down to the more competitive weight divisions, definitely.
So watch this space in the next year or so.
Yes.
World champion.
World champion or die.
And then down to is it super middleweight you're going to go down to?
Super middleweight. 2018 I was middleweight, which is like 72, 73 kilos. I was about 90 kilos at the beginning of this year. Like I'd just given up on everything. So yes, light heavyweights around 80 kilos. That's what I am now. But yeah, I want to go back down. I'm more explosive and more myself at the lower weight. So yeah, definitely goals to go down.
That's brilliant. So moving on to yourself. So you told me off camera that you've got a basketball playoffs.
Yeah, tomorrow. Yeah.
So yeah, just on that then. So how do you see your journey in basketball this year and the trends that you're seeing in basketball, especially in your league and the leagues that we know, and what do you see? How is it going to evolve, and how are you going to be involved in that?
I'll be honest, the league I play in now, it's not professional anymore. Like, I stopped being. That was years ago.
Still a league.
Yeah,
so.
I'm saying it's a campy league. So it's like the highest Filipino league in England. It's completely different to like the British basketball standards. It's a completely different game. Mm-hmm. So in terms of it's not a priority. It's not at the forefront for me. But I can speak on behalf of like the elite basketball players and how that's changed. So when we was younger, like we didn't know anything better. Like we used to play on the courts outside and the concrete, no warm up, landing up and down. Half of us had the like shin splints, what's called Osgood-Schlatter's, the knee thing, and all that stuff. So that's just like normal. But I think nowadays there's so much access to knowledge of everything, so everyone knows how to maintain a longer career, especially like the higher levels. Like, you know, like LeBron invested $1 million into his thing. Like even like ice baths wasn't a thing when we was younger. Now there's like millions of like benefits from it, and cold shower. In terms of like my personal fitness journey, the stuff I've implemented, that will probably be a better conversation. Like I now do cold showers every day, which is that's life changing. You know, I can't believe it's such a cheat code. I can't believe I never used to do that. I don't know if it's like direct link to like health and stuff, but like not masturbating, I think that's a key, especially for men, because for like as soon as you do that, you lose your competitive edge. And surrounding yourself with like a group of people that are super hungry and everything like that, so your testosterone stays high. I feel it's all like key little things that I've implemented in my life. I think now I need to I don't want to announce it yet. There's a couple of things I want to do next.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
also I'm going out to the Philippines in January, which is where I'm from, where my family from, sorry. And there's a whole career out there for me in basketball. So I'm going to try out for a few teams and we'll see what happens. But I think it's likely I could play in a high level out there if I wanted to, just for a couple of years to say that I've done it.
Nah,
That was the goal when I was younger. But it's like, yeah, like I said, it's not the be all and end all anymore. Like when I was a kid, yeah, like if I was to lose a game, I wouldn't, even at the courts, I wouldn't be able to like sleep that night. I just would play in my head over and over again. Now I can lose a game, I don't really care. Like
Okay, so that competitive edge is...
It's not my be all and end all anymore. There's
Yeah.
so many other things I'm trying to pursue.
Nah, that's brilliant. So we're going to move on to the final segment. I lost my phone, it's over there, but it's pretty much the conclusion. So thank you very much for coming. Obviously, it's appreciated you giving us your knowledge and your backgrounds as well. Very motivational, and there's a lot of things there. So just to conclude, what's the next thing that you're going to do? Obviously, you told us about the basketball match, but after that, is there anything
Next
you
thing I
want
want to do, there's so many things, bro. So when will this come out? This podcast?
Probably next couple of weeks.
Yeah. So yeah, by the time it comes out, there'll be like 2 roles that I've acted in that should be out. One will be like one will be on a big broadcasting thing. Hopefully, it's only a small role, and then I got my first few lines in a soap as well. That should come out as well mid September, and then from that, off the back of that, I'll be able to market myself a specific way and reach out, and then hopefully land a few more roles of acting. Modelling side of things, I got. By the time it's out, it's not a big deal. Yeah, I've done a few more modelling things, and then just a few business ventures, and then moving in January. That's next for me, and then taking over the Philippines is next.
Yeah. Brilliant. That's brilliant. Thank you very much. And for yourself as well. So, what's your next goal? What's the next thing that's going to come up for you?
Just building my record up. Get signed to a promoter, and just fight as much as possible, making up for lost time.
So, have you got a next fight coming up, or?
It's not booked yet. Okay. Soon, coming out soon.
Okay, so watch this space then. Okay, then. So thank you very much for joining us here.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us.
So if you can follow us on the YouTube channel, which is Chamsley Wood Foundry Gym. You can also find us on Instagram as well. Everyone's links are going to be there, so just give your shout outs now, your tags with yourself. Sorry. Your Instagram.
Oh, Rosanna_Cox.
And it's I've got my thing then. Shaun _Pelleo.
That's brilliant.
Yeah.
So that's everything here. So thank you very much.
Appreciate it, man.
All the best. Take care.
Thank you.
Thank you.